Welcome back sa ating channel. Naging mainit nga na usapin sa mundo ng social media. Pinangangambahan nga ni Senador Raffy Tulfo at Imee Marcos ang pararating na barangay at sanggunian election ngayon Oktubre dahil sa plano ng COMELEC nang magkaroon ng pilot testing sa mismong araw ng election dahil hindi anya malayong magriresulta ito sa magic na matagal na nangyayari sa ating bansa tuwing halalan. Tila hindi nga pinalusot ni Senador Imee Marcos at Senador Raffy Tulfo ang issue na tila magkakaroon ng testing sa araw ng halalan. Dagdag nga ng maraming netizen, dapat new election rules requirements for all candidates to submit themselves to COMELEC for on-the-spot mandatory drug test and neuropsychotest. We Filipinos should be assured of qualified leader in their right minds and drug abuse-free dependent. Mahalagang katangian ito na dapat meron sa isang matinong kandidatura. Please forward. Thank you. I too is not in favor of pilot testing at the same time during the conduct of SK and Barangay Election Day. It will only create chaos from among the voters. Mano-mano ang bilagan para walang dayaan, huwag na gumamit ng digital. Ay kainaman na talaga kapag pandaraya na naman ang ipapairal ng COMELEC na iyan, aba ay matakot naman tayo sa hagupit ng tadhana. Baka tuluyan na tayong talikuran ng Panginoon ng Diyos, maging tama at patas na tayo sa lahat. Maniwala po kayo, baka kung ano ang trahedya na ang mangyayari sa buong bansa natin kung hindi natin tatantanan ang kalapastangan para sa kapwa. Well, para nga sa karagdagang impormasyon, panoorin nga natin ang buong detalye. At kung bago ka pa lamang sa akin channel, huwag kalimutan i-click ang subscribe button at notification bell para lagi kang updated sa ating mga bagong video. At para sa sulit viewers natin dyan, maraming salamat sa walang sawang pagsuporta.
We can look forward to conducting the barangay and SK elections on October 30, 2023. It is my earnest hope that the Commission on Elections, the primary guardian of our ballots, will be able to carry out its constitutional mandate smoothly and efficiently. I'm positive that our officials will ensure the conduct of an honest and peaceful elections, just like what we have witnessed during the presidential and local elections last year. I'm also for the digitalization of our polls this October. If not full, at least majority of our barangays will be automated to ensure accuracy and credibility of outcomes. With regard to the proposed bills on providing accessibility for the vulnerable sectors of our society, I'm also manifesting my full support. It is crucial that we give every Filipino citizen the chance to exercise his or her right to suffrage, regardless of physical condition. In the true spirit of democracy, it is incumbent upon us to protect and preserve the right to vote. I just want to emphasize, though, that in giving our seniors, PWDs, pregnant women, and IPs full accessibility, adequate safeguards will still be in place by not allowing human intervention as an added tool to cheat or rig the results. Minsan po kasi, ginagamit ng mga mandaraya na palusot yung mga PWDs o seniors para manipulahin ang kanilang balota. Kunwari, tutulungan nila yung senior, pero sa totoo lang, gusto nilang ibahin ang ilalagay o isusulat sa balota. We need to provide accessibility and simultaneously safeguard the sanctity of their ballots. Finally, I fully support the bills amending the Omnibus Code such that the power to select office spaces for provincial and local elections officers be stripped from local government units. Dapat naman talaga COMELEC or at least ang national government ang pumipili at nagpapatayo ng kanilang opisina at hindi si mayor o si governor. Kaya minsan pagdating ng eleksyon, nauna pa si mayor na nagbibigay ng opisina na nakakaalam ng resulta ng eleksyon. Kaya mas madali din manipulahin ang resulta ng eleksyon dahil utang na loob ni election supervisor ang magandang opisina na ibinigay ni Mayor. We should put a halt to this practice and amend the law. We must uphold and preserve at all times the independence of our comelec and its officers. They must remain free from duress or any form of undue influence in order to conduct free, fair, and honest elections. That's all, Madam Chair. Again, good morning and thank you po.
Yes, thank you very much for the spirited support given by our colleague this Monday morning. We're all raring to go. Thank you very much. At eto nga, hihingi kami ng update dito sa Cömêlêc. Maraming iba't ibang balita tungkol sa ating barangay elections. Unang-una, nagtataka kami kung bakit automated bigla ang pinilot test dito sa barangay at SK elections. Ang pagkaintindi natin, manual to. Kaya biglang bakit automated? Ang pagkaalam ko, magko-cost benefit analysis kung kakayanin para sa mga malalaking barangay tulad sa Quezon City at iba pa kung saan halos kalahating milyon, tama ba? Kung minsan ang botante. Okay, tapos alam ko rin na may binaril, tama ba, na ambush isang municipal election officer sa Maguindanao bago mag-Valentine's the day before. So we are hopeful that there's a quick report on this. I hope it has nothing to do with the upcoming barangay and SK elections. And finally, I think an election is about to be conducted this week. Is that correct? February 25 in Cavite for our now Secretary of Justice, Boying Remulla. So if you could apprise us of all these developments very briefly so that questions can be propounded as well thereafter. Thank you. We invite Chairman George Garcia. I believe you will make the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Senator Rafi Tulfo, gandang umaga po. As far as the Comelec is concerned, we are almost 100% prepared for the barangay and SK election of October 30, 2023. As of today, we were able to print 86.59%. I repeat, 86.59% of the ballots for the regular voters. And as far as the Sangguniang Kabataan, we were able to print, as of today, 90.62% of all the ballots for the SK. And so we are hoping to be able to print everything, all the ballots, before the end of February.
I recall that last year you told us that some training had been conducted for teachers and other election officers who would supervise the conduct of both elections. Are they still in place or will continuous training be undertaken?
With all due respect, Madam Chair, as far as the training of the teachers are concerned, we had not yet proceeded with the training because of the possibility at that time that there will be postponement of the election. And so,
Kala ko doon nagastos yung ilang gastos nung na-postpone.
no,
Hindi natuloy yun?
Madam Chair, no. Doon po nagasto sa printing of the ballots, including personnel services of the commission.
Pero magagamit naman yung mga balotang yun. Hindi naman sasayangin.
Yes, Your Honor. Madam Chair, last week, the Comelec and Bank passed a resolution authorizing the use of the 13 million ballots for the regular voters and 8 million ballots for the SK, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you. Sapat ba ito yung 5.7 na new appropriations ng 2023? Chine-check ko lang yung budget ninyo kasi doon tayo na para nung nakaraang taon dito sa tungkol sa budget ng pagpo-postpone. So, Chairman, is there any update on that development?
Madam Chair, as far as the Comelec is concerned, barangay and SK election, the national government gave us 8.449 billion pesos for the conduct of the barangay and SK election, supposedly by December 5, 2022. However, because of the postponement, the budget as approved by the Senate and the House of Representatives and assigned by the President, the 5.7 does not contain, Madam Chair, the additional budget for the barangay and SK because accordingly, in the law, it says it will be the subject of a continuing appropriation and supplemental appropriation.
So how do you seek to finance this barangay and SK elections coming shortly? The only new appropriations, as you mentioned, are is the 5.7 billion already stated as new appropriations for COMELEC. Wala nang iba pa. Although, as we're well aware, you have continuing appropriations from the previous year, as well as savings and other monies.
That's right, Madam Chair. As far as the COMELEC is concerned, of the 5.7, 1.250 was allotted for the construction of our COMELEC building. And dun po sa kakulangan, kung ano man po, because during the previous hearing, we said that perhaps we will be spending more or less additional 2.8 billion pesos. So gagawa na lang po namin ng paraan, Madam Chair, mula sa COMELEC savings, additional, the budget remaining with the Commission on Elections. We're going to still wait, Madam Chair, for the report of our field personnel for the pilot, for the project of precincts. Doon po namin malalaman, Madam Chair, if we're going to add precincts and or ilan yung mga voters per precinct.
Ito nga ang inaalala ko, katulad ni Senator Tulfo, na kapag nagkulang ng budget, ang COMELEC, ang tinatakbuhan yung LGU. Kaya nagkakaroon ng collusion, conspiracy, nakakapraning na eh. Dahil dito, nais natin malaman, at if I may request from Chairman George, exactly where and how much will be derived from your other sources, such that we can be assured that this will be a fair and free election, not financed by random political forces.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Your Honor. Definitely the COMELEC, we will commit, the COMELEC will not be asking for any help from any LGU because that's prohibited. Well, we can only ask from the LGU support for the conduct of plebiscites, but not the conduct of regular election, even special election. So the remaining,
Pero kasasabi mo lang kulang yung budget na ibigay sa inyo, pati yung new appropriations ninyo hindi sapat. So saan manggagaling? Although nga, meron naman kayong savings at saka continuing naman yan. At meron rin kayong iba't ibang koleksyon, di ba? So may pagkukunan, ganun ba?
Yes, Madam Chair, and likewise, we reserve the right to respectfully ask our Congress for an additional budget as the need arises, simply because, Madam Chair, at this point, we can just estimate, but we cannot particularly pinpoint how much we're going to need, simply because although there were additional 1.6 million registered voters from December 12 to January 31, hindi pa po sinasubmit ng mga tao namin from the field kasi po meron pang election registration board hearing by March. So, and doon pa po namin malalaman kung yung buong 1.6 approve po ba yon o meron pong o eksakto po bang approve yung 1.6 o may mababawasan, and then ilan po yung madadagdag sa bawat presinto o magkikreate po ba ng additional precincts.
So that being the case, may I reiterate the request that the budget and the funding sources be submitted to this committee so that in the little time left, we are able to access the funds in time, as well as be clarified that no undue influence will be exercised by the local and other politicians involved.
As Madam Chair will comply, will submit the said documents, Madam Chair.
Chairman Garcia, anong difference dun sa manual uploading versus automated? Dun sa manual, hindi kaya magkakaroon ng problema dun, discrepancy? Kasi may human intervention?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Your Honor, sa question po na yon. When you say po, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, Your Honor, manual uploading, you are going to get the SD card, and the SD card will be physically brought to the canvassing area. So if po, Madam Chair, nasa polling precinct na ito, yung machine, you are going to get the SD card and bring the SD card doon po sa canvassing. So manual or physical intervention will only happen doon sa pagdala po ng SD card, sa pag-manually upload. We cannot po transmit electronically because it will cost a lot of money po. Mas mahal po kapag electronic transmission. So siguro po, tama po yung fear din po, Your Honor, Madam Chair, ay yung pagdadala lang ng SD card. Pagdadala ng SD card from one precinct to the canvassing.
Doon magkakaproblema, Chairman Garcia, yung hawak-hawak yung SD card at ita-transfer doon sa lugar na kung sa ita-transmit na, baka magkaroon ng salisihan, magkaroon na ng kung ano ng magic-magic, ika nga. So, how can we avoid that, sir?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, before po manually i-upload yung pong SD cards, the machines will be printing again, just like the ordinary automated election, 30 election returns. And therefore, before the SD cards will be brought to the canvassing center, which is very near the polling precinct, all the candidates, representatives or watchers will be entitled to copies of the election returns.
So, nandun po sila, allowed sila magbantay at
Yes,
i-monitor po yung transfer para bago i-upload.
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor, that's right.
Okay. Yun lang po, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Makasingit. Sige po, sorry. Later. Later lang po, Madam Chair.
Sa bagay, hindi pa naman natetesto, no? Kailan ninyo balak i-testing na ito? Anong may date na ba?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, during the conduct of the BSKE also, simultaneous with the BSKE, doon po kami magpa-pilot test with two barangays.
You're going to do this in October 30 also?
Yes, Madam.
Sabay-sabay? Hindi ba napakagulo?
We are going to have only 3 places.
No, but I'm confused. Is this a pilot or if you're doing it on the same date, it's the actual election?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Tama ba yun? Aren't you required to pilot all new experiments?
Madam Chair, we can always pilot outside.
Shouldn't you pilot it previously? I've never heard of a pilot during the election at the same time with the same results. That's no longer a pilot.
Yes, Your Honor. Only in 2 places in Dasmariñas, Cavite, Paliparan, and one in a very large barangay, and in Project 6.
No, I understand the necessity of trying another way of doing things aside from the purely manual method that we've been accustomed to. Pero kung ite-testing yan, dapat naman unahin sa election, no? Wag naman mag-testing during the election, nakakatakot naman yata yan. Baka magic-magic nga yan eh. Hindi pa tayo sigurado kung paano mag-work. Siyempre, iron out pa yung detalye, yung transmission, sino magbibitbit niyan. Ang comelec, wala na naman sasakyan. Kanina naman sasakyan ilalagay yung mga SD cards na mahiwaga. Can we please not pilot during the election proper?
Actually, Your Honor, that's right. We merely approve in principle the NBank, the conduct of automated BSKE in 3 areas, but NBank had not yet approved the guidelines for the conduct. And therefore, during our discussion by the NBank, I do not want to preempt the action of the NBank. Definitely, surely a member or members of the NBank will raise this issue that we should conduct the pilot test ahead of the BSKE.
Yes, we've piloted every single experiment that the COMELEC has undertaken. And these are very large places, di ba? Dasmariñas, Cavite, isa na yun. Ang lalaki ng barangay sa Quezon City, itong Pasong Tamo ang nandito. May ikatlo pa raw o talagang dalawa lang to?
Dalawa lang po, Mr.
Yun
Chair.
na eh. Kinakabahan kasi yung mga taga Quezon City at yung Dasmariñas kung paano gagawin. Eh yung pala, eleksyon na mismo. Alalahanin pa natin na October 30 ang eleksyon, undas. So mas lalong magulo yung panahon na yun. May pilot, may hindi pilot, tapos may papunta rin sa semeteryo na milyon-milyon. Paano ba yun?
Yes, Madam Chair, we will definitely take seriously the advice of the good the chairperson, because we are going to still approve the guidelines, Madam Chair. And therefore, what we are saying is we are going to pilot in the sense that this is the first time in the history of our barangay and SK election to conduct automated pilot test, automated election in 2 places, but we are going to test whether it is really feasible before the October 30 barangay and SK elections.
So, in other words, magkakaroon po kayo ng dry run.
Yeah, yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor. Meron naman po, because by February 25 also, the election in Cavite, the special election, is automated din po, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
Chairman, sir, yung sinasabi niyo po, yung SD card, tapos dadalhin po yun sa isang section na kung saan doon i-upload yung SD card. Gaano kalayo po yun?
If,
From point to point?
yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor, may mga eskwelahan po, may mga barangay po, isang school lang. So kung isang school lang po yun, Madam Chair, Your Honor, if there are 3 precincts in that school, sa isa pong lugar doon, for example po sa opisina ni principal, doon po yung canvassing. So meaning to say the SD card from precinct 1A, precinct 2A, precinct 3A will be manually uploaded, brought physically to the office of the principal there in the polling place. Yung po ay kung yung tatlong presinto halimbawa po ay nasa isang polling place, sa isang eskwelahan. But what if there are 3 schools in one barangay, sa tatlong schools po na yon, katulad po sa Dasmariñas, so yung pipili po ang komisyon ng isa sa tatlong schools, doon po mangyayari yung canvassing. Kukuhanin po yung SD cards mula sa mga machines sa iba't ibang presinto sa tatlong schools, dadalhin po doon sa isang eskwelahan. Doon po i-upload.
Okay. So paano naman po yung seguridad noon? Yung pong magdadala ng SD card, dapat po meron silang escort, police or military to make sure na hindi po ma-hold up yun o hindi magkakaroon ng salisihan. Dapat may kasama din po yung mga kandidato doon para mag-observe yung kanilang mga representatives.
Tama po, Madam Chair, Your Honor. Definitely, we will ensure the highest security arrangement. Ganyan din po yung nangyayari sa atin during the 2022 elections and the previous elections of automated. Pag po hindi nakapag-transmit electronically ang machines, ina-upload po manually. Yung kinukuha po yung SD card, dinadala po sa bayan, dinadala sa City Hall. More or less, ganyan din po yung security arrangement preparations na gagawin namin. We will ensure that all the watchers of candidates will be present when the SD cards will be brought. At bago po namin gawin yon, all of them will be having copies of the election returns as printed by the machines.
Okay, Madam Chair, bago ako punta doon sa kabila, meron na akong konting hirit.
Thank you
Medyo
very much.
off topic to ng konti. Kasi I've read several articles in the past na kalunos-lunos po yung itsura ng tanggapan ng COMELEC, dilapidated. Ano pong balak nyo doon? Kaawa-awa po kayo. Kasi yung ibang mga, exactly, nagre-rent, correct. Samantalang yung ibang mga agency na katulad din ninyo, importante yung ginagampan ng responsibilities, may mga sariling building at magaganda pa, Madam Chair. Kahanga-hanga, yung COMELEC na para sa akin, isa sa pinaka-importanting ahensya, mukhang kawawa. Wala ba kayong balak na pagandahin man lang po or magkaroon kayo ng
Well mga kababayan, dito nga nagtatapos ang ating talakayan. Tila marami nga nagbabanat na tila barangay election na nga ay may balak pa ang COMELEC na dayahin ito. Tila ibabalik nga ba ang mga botante at mga opisyales ng mga dilawan? Well, ano sa palagay nyo mga kababayan? Just comment below sa ating comment section ang inyong mga opinyon at ating pag-uusapan. Maraming salamat.